Welcome back, everybody, to the next round, the third round of the FSL ARAM tie section. Once again, my name is Everyday. With me is the big man Spood, bringing you the big brain. Let's jump straight into this draft screen, as we do have a bit of an interesting one here, for sure. For the blue side, Rise, Ziggs, Siva, Wukong, and Kassadin. And over on the red team, we've got Rumble, Braum, Nocturne, Graves, and Aphelios. Now, let's start with the blue team. What are you thinking?
Right, well, when you see Sivir and you see a Rise, obviously the answer as to what the blue team is going to want to do to you is basically run and you try to kill you, along with the fact that you have the Wukong and the double knockup to supplement that, as well as the Kassadin, which is also a late game monster. This blue team is looking quite fearsome when it comes to team fights, especially if they are able to hold back and come in for the cleanup.
Absolutely. That engage combo of Rise, Sivir, and Wukong running at you is terrifying. There is a bit of disengage in the Braum. I don't know if that Glacial Fish is going to be quite enough, though. With an Equalizer, do they have enough layered slows to hold back the onslaught? Because I think if they can hold the initial engage, they've got the big man himself, Mr. Aphelios.
Yeah, they do have the Aphelios, they do have the tools to sort of hold back the engage, but it does come down to who layers their skills after whom, like as well as the positioning of both the Glacial Fisher and the Equalizer coming in from the Rumble and the Braum. I think if blue team are able to sort of bait those cooldowns out, they definitely do have the chance of winning that fight. But if red team, they do manage to layer on the CC, I think that's when their advantages come through.
For sure, it's going to be a very skill-based matchup, and we will see you in just a moment to get us onto that bridge in the Freljord. We'll see you soon. Welcome, everybody, to the loading screen for this third round. Thank you so much for joining us. We, of course, love having everyone here. So, we were talking about how this is an execution-based match. And we mostly, for the blue team, talked about the three-man core of Siva, Wukong, and Rise. But what does Ziggs add to this? Because he's got some range.
Yeah, Ziggs has range, does have the ultimate that could really do quite a bit. He's not going for Dark Harvest, so he's not going to have all that much boom potential. But alongside the advantages we have just mentioned, I think Ziggs really just brings to the table the ability to demolish towers very quickly, right? He can take objectives off the map just like that. He can just chunk the turret for 75% of the health in the late game. So this Ziggs, if blue team do manage to push up to an objective, this Ziggs is something you definitely have to watch out for.
Yeah, you for sure do. As well as that Kassadin on the Rift, he's a late game monster. It's fairly true for the Howling Abyss as well, but it doesn't take quite as long. On the red side, Nocturne could potentially be quite clutch. If he can get onto that Ziggs, who has the potential to end up very isolated. Everyone else on his team wants to run forward. Ziggs kind of wants to hold back, lob those bombs. If Nocturne can get onto him, pop the spell shield to get away from the minefield, we could be in for a very interesting game.
I'm sort of biased because most of the time I see Ziggs is not a very good Ziggs, so I'm actually not sure if this Ziggs is going to be doing all that much damage. Enough to warrant using the Nocturne ult on the champion. I think Nocturne could maybe go for the Rise, maybe go for the Wukong. I'm not sure if the Sivir is going to be able to be there along with the spell shield.
I just think the problem overall, is they're going to be grouped. You'll just be diving into 4, surely. And you just get hit by a Wukong ult. That sucks.
Right, first, I was going on to the next point, which was that if you want to use Ultimate on Nocturne, another way you can do it is, just hang back, wait for your team to sort of deal the initial damage, and go in for the cleanup once that is done. Because I think playing Nocturne in a team fight-oriented game mode, you're not gonna have the best. You're not gonna have the best experience, I think.
Sure, and you could go for that kind of build. We have to comment on the Nocturne build. Look at that first item in his inventory.
Oh,
what's going on there?
Not sure. Not exactly quite sure what's going on. You know what? Usually on AP champions, I get flamed if I build tier first. So going tier first on Nocturne, not sure what's going on.
Well, I mean, it's obviously a Muramana. There's no way it's an Archangel staff. That is completely bonkers. It's going to be a Muramana, which, and it does a lot of damage. And it does stack up pretty quickly, just because of how tier works. Of course, you do... well, if you speak Thai, you can read the tooltip, unfortunately. It does stack up very quickly, so maybe there's some merit to that. I was going to say, I'd love to see him just go full lethality, maybe just get one full lethality item, and then a Guardian Angel, so you can just dive in, do as much damage as you can, and then go into the Guardian Angel and let your team clean up. And then hopefully you come back up to do the last little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, but
she disagrees.
Main... Pardon?
Evidently, she disagrees and is going a bit of a different Nocturne.
Yeah, I mean... Right now, the main issue with picking up tier first is you lose all the combat stats that you could otherwise be getting in the early game, but now that I think about it, I think it's actually quite not that much of an issue, especially on Nocturne, because you're not going to be doing all that much in the early team fights, right? You're just going to hold back. You're a melee champion. In Summoner's Rift, you're designed to flank. You're not really flanking on the Howling Abyss, so there's not much you can really do, except, I guess, sit back and stack up for the Mirror Mana later on, and try to find some sort of impact in the late game fights.
For sure, and it does make sense for this red team to play for the late game. They have an Aphelios. We all know what Aphelios does on 2 or 3 items. It's not very fair. And they have enough wave clear. They are going to be pushed in because the blue team, I should say, does have superior wave clear, but the red team has enough that the tower's not.
Yep, definitely not only the Sivir, but also the Rise. You're not going to have a good time wave clearing against blue team, but red team looking like they do have enough advantages to keep it even at least.
For sure, particularly if the periods of time where Aphelios does have that flamethrower, you just cue the wave, it's gone. Because Aphelios is a fair and balanced champion. And I'm glad he is,
by the way.
Oh well, oh well.
Well, we're probably not going to see all that much action in the early game, actually. I think it's going to be a bit of a lull state. Both teams are pretty happy just stalling for late. Like you said, red team, they have the Aphelios, is quite a monster in the late game. But on blue team, you do have multiple champions that can really carry those late game fights. And I think both teams are sort of just banking on the fact that, hey, we can execute on these late game fights more cleanly than the other team.
Can I tell you something that might be a little bit scary? Look how they're grouped.
Sure.
They get red team to fall back a little bit, Realm Warp forward, Wukong, and all of their AoE with a Sivir. Oh, I think now that the blue team is level 6, they're very scary. They've got some nutty ults for playmaking. But there is a Gravitum, and it might be the first one going down, is Rary on the Sivir. I said the blue team was scary at 6, but apparently so is the red. One's traded back, but it's a 2-for-1 already. Waifu's sliding forward, and there's the paranoia, and they certainly have every right to be paranoid, as triple kill for Aphelios, and it's an ace, delayed ace. Oh no, it was actually a full ace. She was still dead, but Sivir is now respawning. They're not going to be able to get the tower, but they get a lot of gold in their pockets.
And once again, this is the second game in the row we've seen clear communication and clean execution once the team has hit 6. But blue team, they're not happy with it. They've popped
No, they're not. There's the shutdown onto Aphelios. The boomerang blade does a lot, and it's a triple kill straight back. Both ADCs have got one. Sivir very, very happy as we are back to dead level pegging.
Yep, dead even 5-5. Even the gold is just about the same. Blue team, they're gonna be able to walk up a little bit and just get a bit of chunk damage on the tower, but it's not gonna be able. It actually might be enough to take it down. Red team's not here to defend it.
Yeah, I think this will be enough, down. Particularly with the bomb boy Ziggs.
Bomb boy.
Oh,
bomb boy, turret go boom.
Haha, turret go boom. Oh my, as. Yep, that is the tower. The power of a Sivir and a Ziggs put on display. Question is,
right?
Do we just? Is it going to be a fight every time the ults are up?
I think it might just be both these teams. They have quite impactful ultimates, and neither of them are pretty hesitant in using them right now. Advantage definitely does go over to red team. They did get the most recent reset, and right now you can see that most of them already have their first completed items, while blue team, they're still sitting on components of their first items, except for the Wukong, who has already picked up a Black Cleaver.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And one thing I just want to comment on, because I think it's quite smart, is we do see Holocaton on the Aphelios still has that purple gun. The value of the Gravitum ult in the situation of the thin lane is ridiculous. If you can hold them up, drop the rest of the ults on top of them, you win that fight very easy. Fortunately, she's actually switched to using it now. I was hoping they'd just conserve the ammo and go through the other gun. But we'll have to see what her decision is.
Yeah, definitely Gravitum right now. I think he just was just using it to clear the wave just a little bit. Not exactly sure why they decided to swap over to it. But as long as the Gravitum gun has ammo, that ultimate is still going to be very impactful, right? We've seen it in the previous. We saw it in the previous fight, right? Blue team did not expect it. It just shot, and red team just ran over them and picked up the first ace of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. As bit more damage just being tossed around. Really, nothing sticking at the moment. Ziggs just does have that tear, and the Lost Chapter hasn't really hit very much. And there's the Gravitum ult being used. They are about to get healed. There's an equalizer. It does a fair bit, but the Cyclone is knocking them all off. He can't get the second one off, though, as they go down. And now the blue team is absolutely melting. Here comes Nocturne, corkscrewing their way forward, chopping them to bits. Will go down to the tower, but it's still a 4 for 1. The red team doing very, very well. They're looking like their communication is just better.
Definitely, but execution there, I think, could have been slightly cleaner. I think
Aphelios, if Aphelios switches to that white gun, they can get this tower, but not doing it yet. Bit of a mistake there. Could have shredded that tower.
Yeah, the execution coming in from red is sort of suboptimal. They could definitely have been playing these fights slightly better, especially in the previous fight when they did have so much of an advantage. They had completed items going against only components of the first item coming in from blue team. So I think the amount of health that they lost. But here comes an engage.
I hate to cut you off. It's the snowball. Mr. Aphelios has gone down. Moonpie wants to find more, but Clone's out of there. And the red team is very low. That boomerang blade very close to cleaning up a few. And now the bombs and the boomerang once again. Down you go. Repping the Australians for sure with those boomerang skills. Braum just wants the reset. Maybe not the greatest time to go for it, though, as the tower is under a little bit of threat, but the wave clear is good.
Let's be real, he was like 100 health. He wasn't going to survive any sort of fight, so the earlier you went back to base, the earlier you came back up with full health. So I guess that's fair enough. Blue team is threatening on this tower, but with the rest of red team now sort of respawned and ready to defend, I don't think they're going to be managing to get it.
Absolutely chunked. The waifu, definitely not happy about that one, but dealing a lot of damage. The spell shield from Sivir was good. There's an equalizer, and the red team once again charging forward. Realm Warp will get Rise out of there, but the miscommunication's not good. They can't use Rise's damage. The Cyclone Strike into the Aphelios ult. He's got marks everywhere. This is a very bloody fight, but I think the red team is starting to come out on top. Aphelios could get more, but he doesn't hit that Calibrum shot. Wants to wait for it to come back up, I think, and go for a snipe. Drops a turret. Doesn't quite hit the shot, but now has the red gun. That's super valuable in ARAM, let's be totally real. But they're going in again. Nocturne dives onto the backline, dies for it, but I don't think she minds that too much.
Yep, using the paranoia to just clean up the fight like we were sort of predicting in I think it was the loading screen, but right now red team is playing very, very cleanly. Around this Aphelios especially, dishing down a lot of damage. The communication has definitely stepped up from the previous few fights that we saw in the early game, even though they haven't been managing to take up all that much objective health right now.
Yeah, at the moment, I think they do just want to build towards just Aphelios being able to dish out a lot of damage. Client freezes. Don't crash again, please.
Uh-oh.
Fortunately, I think it has unfortunately crashed. League really just not doing me any favors today. We will just have to cut over.
Fix your client, right?
We'll have to just cut over to our beautiful faces. It shouldn't be too much of a delay. I do apologize once again. Hello, everyone. It is us.
Hello.
If you want to just
us indeed.
You can just radio cast a little bit because I've now got a bug.
Right. No worries about it. Well, nothing's really happening right now. Just going back for a bit of a reset. I think Ziggs just respawned. Um, not many item buys that we can really talk about either. So it's just a bit of a lull state as Everyday gets his client back into working order. Red team is beginning to sort of just threaten for the tier 1 turret. Again, nothing too interesting happening right now, fortunately for us both.
Yeah, that is very lucky, as I do now have the screen back. I do apologize once again. I don't know why the client hates me, but it really does.
Unlucky.
Yeah, very unlucky, but here we are. We didn't miss any fights. That's nice. Let me fix a couple things up. Bang. Press that button. Easy. Here we go. One person I do want to see getting a reset soon is Aphelios. He has 2,000 gold in the back. Right. Looks like he's going double crit items. The Infinity Edge straight into the Essence Reaver. I love this build. It does so much damage.
You know, I'll be better at that build.
Do tell.
4 Infinity Edges.
It's not Jin. Come on.
We're gonna do it anyway.
You need a Runins. Nah, you go Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, Runins, and then the game ends.
Right.
Because this Aphelios does not die.
Yeah.
If he has Red Gun and the Runins, he doesn't die. Well, he's not going to have the Red Gun forever. Does go away.
Not for much longer, in fact. It's actually going to swap over now. Equalizer does come down, though.
Oh, you are ahead of me, apparently. I may have to catch up, as we'll bring those time controls back up.
I'll slow down. It's cool.
No, it's fine. I was way behind. Here we go. There is the big fight. The red team very, very low, and Dillariba goes down. I apologize we missed the front of that, but it's a 2 for 2, and the Realm Warp, though, will get it all done. Waifu, the last one standing, but I don't think they're going to be for much longer. Ooh, I thought they survived that, but no. The double kill for Cassidy goes down in trade. Blue team coming out on top.
Now you're ahead of me, actually.
Just drag your time controls fully to the...
Yeah, I'm just gonna let it play out. That's cool. But that fight was pretty messy, not gonna lie. Blue team definitely coming out on top. Does manage to pick up a turret as well.
That they do, and this Nocturne's overstepped. Really overestimated their damage there, and they go down for no real reason. Obviously didn't have any built-up gold. Bit of damage on the inhib from the Ziggs. Red team wants to potentially take a fight. Do they have an equalizer? They don't. Their ults aren't up here. This is dangerous. There's no Moonlight Vigil. There is really nothing. Moonpie goes very low. How far are they off their ults? The equalizer has now come up, but that's it. I think the red team needs to pump the brakes.
Yeah, pump the brakes. Definitely not exactly sure why they were posturing to go for a full-on engage there. I think a little bit of desperation may have been setting in right now for the red team. They definitely want to get some objectives on the board, but playing it slow and steady is always better than going, hit first into a fight that you probably cannot win.
So, interestingly enough, Aphelios has not gone the Essence Reaver build. He's gone straight for the runes. Right. It's fair enough. It does an insane amount of damage. Both of these builds are very good for the gunman. And he will be dealing a pretty gross amount of damage. And that's not quite where you want to point that shield from.
Well, I think the Aphelios right now, yeah, it's fair enough. He is far enough ahead that he deals enough damage without the Essence Reaver that the Runas just really accelerates his ability to put down that damage onto multiple members of blue team. So definitely a fair enough buy. Essence Reaver could have boosted the damage a little bit more, but right now it is not that significant.
Yeah, it's a little bit of personal preference, and honestly something I didn't really think about is mana's a little bit different on Howling Abyss, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So you don't need the mana refund quite as much. I actually do not mind this decision whatsoever. And, I mean, this is still just coming down to execution around the ultimate. You have everyone locked and loaded. 2 very impactful Aphelios ults available. You can initiate with the purple or clean up with the blue. Who do you think's going to pull the trigger on this one?
I think red team definitely have to pull something. Because if blue team goes for a clean engagement...
Oh, and there it is! The gravitum is huge into the equalizer, and red team is melting! The Cyclone Strike trying to get enough done. Aphelios has gone down on the backside. That's a lot of damage removed, but I think the health bars are just a little bit too low. This should be the nice, clean ace 5 for 1. Only Aphelios dies. Nocturne with a triple kill. And this should be at least 1 tower. They want to make it 2 if they can.
Absolutely no desperation coming in from that engage. They knew what they were doing. They execute cleanly, and they do manage to pick up the big W in that fight. Now they're threatening for the second tier turret, and this is a slow and steady thing that we want to see coming in from Red, right? They are able to peel for the Aphelios. Maybe not as good as they should have been in that previous fight. He was the only champion to die, but they are going to pick up multiple objectives and sort of equalize the map state now that they have won that fight.
Absolutely. They're trying to get some damage on this inhib. I think that might be a little bit risky. And in terms of peeling for this Aphelios, if we have a moment, no waifu timing, and this is just a bit of reset. Don't really need to talk too much. Actually, we might.
Just gotta stagger it a little bit.
There's the Realm Warp. This is dangerous. 5 arriving. This is Aphelios going down. The bomb. Nocturne, the only one getting the kill. This could be game. No, they don't have a wave. They don't have a wave. I don't think they can win.
Just as soon as we praise the red team for clean execution, they fall prey to the Realm Warp execution that we were sort of discussing in the early game. Super unfortunate. Definitely could have been much, much worse should the blue team have had a wave there. But at the end of the day, they don't win the game. Red team go back, they get a quick reset, and now they are the advantageous ones when it comes to damage on the map.
For now, at least, as the Phantom Dancer for Aphelios is done. He is just stacking up more damage. And something I was going to comment on before that fight kicked off is we have in a few of these ARAMs talked about someone being so much of a threat that all of the enemy resources have to go onto them. And I think Aphelios is in that situation. You have to put everything into him because otherwise he'll kill you. He will just 1v5 your team if you don't put your ultimates on that man. But if you do, well, how do you stop the Nocturne and the Graves? That, I think, is going to be the dynamic.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, luckily for blue team, in the previous few times we've actually spoken about that dynamic, the target was actually much more slippery, I think, in my opinion, than a very immobile AD carry like Aphelios who does not have stealth.
It's very true.
So in this case, I think being able to see your target and have him be in the general area as where you engage onto him is going to be much more easier for blue team to execute on than, say, someone who can dash, or like the Twitch, I think, was the previous example.
That makes a lot of sense. Once again, we want to keep track of these Aphelios guns. He does currently have the red and the green. Wants to cycle away from that sniper. Sniper's great for laning phase, not great once you're in the team fights. Definitely wants to be cycled.
Just gotta swap it up. Yeah.
He's spamming those Qs. Makes a lot of sense. Get rid of it.
Right now blue team is sort of pushing up a little bit. Keep in mind that I believe they have actually lost the fight, so red team should have a bit more damage on the board, especially with the Aphelios, like you said. Blue, I think if they go for a fight right now, they really just have to wait for Aphelios to misstep.
Yeah,
Aphelios to play this cleanly. If they manage to do that, red team should pick up the W.
That they should. The Brawl ult is good, but there's a lot of damage. Here they go forward. Sivir, the equalizer's good, but the Cyclone Strike is as well. Wukong goes down. Has he done enough damage? I don't think so. Aphelios is throwing the chakrams left, right, and center. Nagasa charging forward. Will go down to Mimi ain't easy, but the Rise follows them to the grave. Only 2 members of the blue team left, and they're on very low health. The waifu charging forward, getting that shotgun. Chick, chick, boom! And down goes Sivir. They want the Ziggs as well. And this should be the equalizing inhib. If not the game, they are bringing a wave up with an Aphelios. This is a little bit dangerous.
Definitely could be game. Again, comes down to execution on whether or not they win the final fight.
Yeah, they want. I think they should try and take.
At least one more fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Moonpie goes forward. Can they actually get the execute onto the Braum? They can't. The bomb doesn't either. The block, but the snowball should finally be able to kill this Braum. No, he's still alive. The flamethrower's going as well. Drops the turret. Can't really push through it. I don't know how Braum survived. I think it might have wanted to go down. Oh, the turret got a kill. Oh no!
This is the most unfortunate
thing.
How many
years?
I guess that's fair enough. Zix was the only one who didn't go for the reset.
Yeah, it's fine, I think. It's just a bit funny. Interesting. Look at the healing on Braum. Where did the health come from?
Oh, they're going to take the opportunity.
Yep, absolutely. Moonpie's clone has been found. The paranoia will get the fear just onto that rise. The Glacial Fisher as well doesn't get the knock up, but does get a nice little slow zone. They're a little bit low on ults, but that Moonlight Vigil's about to be up. I'm absolutely terrified of when it is, as it's only 2 members of the blue team standing. I think our red team might be taking this one home. Aphelios, just pull the trigger on the flamethrower roll. You kill them both, son! Does now have a Gravitum. 2 members alive for the blue team. Do they want to go for this? I think they win it if they do. Just let it rip, Aphelios. That's the big one. Kassadin diving in. Can't get a kill, though. This is tragic. There's more damage from Aphelios. This is very measured play, and the Moonlight Vigil is finally shot and misses completely. That's not what you want to see. Unfortunate there. I think the red team, had they been a bit more bloodthirsty, could have ended. But instead, we will continue this game.
Yep, they simply did not have enough health, I think. They didn't have the confidence that they'd had enough health to win that fight, even though the Aphelios was, in fact, on a full health bar. So I think they were just a little afraid that they couldn't peel for the Aphelios. And keep in mind, they are on the inhibitor, so losing that could make it very, very difficult for them to come back into the game had they lost that fight, especially against the blue team with the amount of wave clear that they
Oh, but here they go. Paranoia is used, and the collateral damage will live up to its name as it's another kill. Mimi ain't easy on the rise, has been found by the Equalizer. Can the Rumble do enough damage? Goes Golden. Cyclone is used. Wukong going down. Bomb comes out, doesn't do very much. And here comes the shot. I think this will be the final death march here for the red team. They should be able to walk this one in with a 4v2. Aphelios on nearly full health. They're just going to chunk away at this tower.
Execution. All right.
They're being very careful. As they're playing this one incredibly slowly. 4 seconds on Rary Siva. Rumble's gone down to a flank by Kassadin. Waifu very low, needs to be careful about the same thing. Kassadin goes Golden, should get stunned up immediately out of the Zhonya's. And now here comes the Sivir ult. They waited just a little bit too long. And Sivir came back up. Red team, you've got to get your killer instinct. As now, Rary chasing them down. The onslaught comes out. The red gun Q and Nocturne. It is a shutdown onto Sivir. Can they get out of here? Or will this be a cleanup? Good use of the red ult there just to get some health. He needs to walk forward, press that Q, but it's not enough. Oh. Shutdown onto Aphelios. And they did not have the killer instinct. They didn't go for the throat. And now they might be in a little bit of trouble. This might be the end of their in here.
Absolutely, they're at least gonna get the inhibitor for sure. Not exactly sure if the what am I saying? The death timers are gonna be long enough for blue team to walk these minions in. The equalizer is just gonna come down. I think
that's a very bad equalizer. That needed to go on the minions.
Yep.
But exactly. It went on no one. Oh, and here is the fight. The Cyclone used. They don't have Aphelios yet, but Graves deals a lot of damage. Waifu piloting that one to perfection as it is a shutdown on Wukong, the blue team. Backing off. They still need to be very careful of their own death timers.
Yeah, let me break in here. The main thing that you have to keep your eye on right now, and has been the main mitigating factor for why Red Team has not yet won, is this Kassadin. They are so afraid because he deals so much damage.
Is used. They've picked up a kill on Ziggs. 35 seconds on him, and he's a lot of the wave clear. I'm sorry to cut you off. You are right about the Kassadin. But this game, it's on a nice edge, when perhaps it shouldn't be.
Right, you see Kassadin is low. They should have a little bit more confidence to go in right now.
Sure.
Because you probably can kill the Kassadin. Just go in and take the turrets. He's low. The threat isn't there. They are going for it.
Yep, zoning equalizer is used. Moonlight Vigil's about to come up and he's got a flamethrower. This is a very scary situation. There it is. He didn't actually use the flamethrower. He used the crescendum. Just going, they want to get the victory lap. They just want the kills. This game is definitely over. The Nexus being hit, and it is your red team taking the win. A bit of a closer one than the first two we had, at the very least.
Yeah, I think one thing we really missed in the last few fights again is the Kassadin, because we were questioning why Red Team were so hesitant, why they didn't really want to go in for the engages. But we did see what happened when they ended up doing so. The Kassadin just basically ripped through the entirety of Red Team, and the only reason why they did have that confidence to go in and get the win at the final fight there was because the Kassadin was so low. And I think we really have to keep a lot of praise onto how well this Kassadin was played
For sure.
despite its loss.
For sure, that was a very good performance. I think from all 10 members on the Rift, there was really no one to point
Mm,
out that didn't contribute. It was a very close game, but in the end, the red team did edge it out. But we'll be back
definitely.
shortly with round 4. I think it should be our final round, but we'll find out.
Hmm.
Of the FSL Thai ARAM League. Don't go anywhere, guys.